Today we start with a funny one because I can guarantee you that the rest of the video for us Juventini will absolutely not be funny. Too many is the title of the video, is the title that you can read on the thumbnail. Too many are the players that are arriving at La Continassa. And I will try to explain you with simple words what consequences and impact it is having on the moment of Juventus. So let's start with the funny one, with Matias Soulé, because we all remember, and I'm sure you remember, what happened when Matias Soulé posted on Instagram his new fresh haircut during the summer, going from brown to blonde, with Angel Di Maria, that at that moment, since a few days, was not anymore a Juve player, telling him and writing him a comment in Spanish, "Que pelito, what a haircut." Soy seguro, I am sure, tu papá Allegri no le va a gustar, ja 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 ja. I'm sure that your father Allegri will absolutely not love it. Well, at that moment we were all joking and it was a funny comment. On the other way, with what happened today, we can say that maybe he was partially correct. Why? Because if day one of Matias Soulé at La Continassa, after the medical test, we saw him with his still summer look, touching ball and touching grass, well, after day one, probably after watching in the eye Max Allegri, or Max Allegri watching him with that face, today, at day 2, he came with a total different look, shaving all his blonde mesh. Mamma mia, what a funny thing, really funny thing to start the Wednesday with. It was funny, of course, Max Allegri didn't tell him anything, but it's just funny to see the reaction after that comment of Max Allegri, of Angel Di Maria. Anyway, when I told you we are too many, that's what we'll speak about in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. We are too many, but we are not too many to put a maximum of like on the video. I'm sure and convinced that you are still continuing to support the video with that thumb up, so continue to do it. And if you want to share the channel with your friends, because we are missing 5 people to reach 26,300 Juventini on the video, so we can do it. Now we start speaking with that image, with Pogba as a leader, with behind him a lot of players that a lot of Juventini don't even know who they are. Who are all those guys? Well, we have an answer. All the players that are at the moment at the disposal of Max Allegri. If until yesterday I was already counting 22 players arriving at La Continassa, between Pogba, Fagioli, Keane, Rugani, Locatelli, Alexandro, Gatti, and so on. Yesterday we had 10 players. The day before we started with 12, between Pinsoglio, Bremer, Perin, Vlahovic, Iling Jr., Barrenechea, and so on. 22 players. In addition to that, you have to tell also that today 9 other Juventini arrived at La Continassa. Szczesny, Milik, we have Kostic, Danilo, all potential starters of Juventus, but also other players like Zaccaria, De Winter, Pellegrini, Piazza, Arthur. We are at the moment 31 players, and I didn't even mention the ones that were taking a bit more longer holidays. Why? Because they were playing with their national team, like Federico Chiesa, Leonardo Bonucci, Miretti, Barbieri, Cambiaso, Rovella, Weah, new signing with Juventus that still needs now to arrive officially at Juventus after him being announced. We have so many players at La Continassa. And now I will go back before speaking about the individual players, because all of them have a different profile. All of them have a different story that we need to solve. A lot of you are telling me, Beppe, what is Juve doing? What is Giuntoli doing? Why did we sign a sporting director like Giuntoli if he's not even able to sign some players? Since he arrived, we already lost Milinkovic-Savic and Fabiano Parisi. What are we doing? Why is Juventus so slow? A few months ago, you told us in a video that the philosophy of John Elkann was to act fast. So at the moment, after Weah, there is nobody. Why are we not signing players? What will happen with Juventus 23-24? It will be too late if we are not fast, because all the other clubs are already starting mercato. Ragazzi, let's go back in time. How many times already before the end of last season I told you and I predicted you that this mercato, at the end of the mercato, you will rate it between 5.5 on 10 and 6 on 10. For a simple reason, because it was so easy. So I'm not a genius. So easy to predict that the month of July would have been a really tough month for Juventus. We have now at the moment potentially at disposal for the first team of Max Allegri, between next gen first team, between all these players, and not even all the next gen, the potential ones that are ready to make that step up, 46 players between all the players that are there, also the one that came back from loan. It is a lot. Signing a new player at the moment would be madness. Then you will tell me, Beppe, but not all of them will stay. Of course you will sell Zakaria, Arthur, McKennie, Pellegrini, and so on and so on and so on. There are some players that you will send on loan. So at the end, you have space to sign new players. Well, you can say whatever you want, but when we are looking at the picture that I'm showing you now on screen, where is Zakaria? Is he already at West Ham or is it in La Continassa? This morning was signing autographs and he was doing selfies. This morning we saw Arthur saying buongiorno with an Italian that he probably forgot after his year at Liverpool. That was at La Continassa. Today we have different stories also of players from the next gen. One of the earlier ones that were promoted in first team and that didn't succeed, like Marley Ake, that we will have to find a destination for. There are already the next gens that are pushing to create some space and to enter that first team, like Huijsen and Kenan Yildiz, two players with a lot of potential. There are so many stories, like the one of Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, that at the moment is still a question mark, not because we don't know if he will go on loan or if he's a next-gen player, no, but because his physical condition. And if on one side we have some personal trainers that are expert analyzing the small clips and saying Pogba is about to be really back at the top physical condition, we don't know. We are not sure about it. This morning I was doing differentiated training in the scent, like we saw in that reportage, in that documentary with Federico Chiesa when he came back from ACL. Do you remember? The same kind of exercises. What is the condition of Paul Pogba? We don't know. What will happen with the offer, the interest of Saudi Arabia that offered him 100 million euro for 3 years? That Pogba already refused, but they are coming back because they don't want to give up, with apparently 150 million euro for 3 years, something totally crazy, out of this world. Will he go? Will he not go? Juventus at the moment can't oblige him. They told him already, we are open to whatever decision you want to take. If you want to stay, of course, you will have to convince us in that month of July, because we can't wait until the 31st of August. It will be too late. We already lost Milinkovic-Savic, that was on your priority list. So decide yourself. We are happy if you stay. We count on you if you stay, but we need some guarantees. And Pogba at the moment, like reported by French paper L'Equipe and so on, wants to take with two hands that opportunity to show to the world, to himself, that he's that player, also with the motivation to still play high-level football, to go with the French national team 2024. On top of all the players that we have, and we are blocked at the moment because of Fabiano Parisi couldn't come at the moment and reinforce that left side, that offensive, defensive, 3-5-2, 4-3-3, whatever we are playing, we have players like Ealing Jr., Kostic, Alexandro, Cambiaso that is coming back, De Sciglio that will not be on the field, but we are still playing De Sciglio. We have even Danilo that can play potentially on the left side. We have so many players. A Fabiano Parisi that is a great talent would have been total madness. But on top of that, ragazzi, we're speaking about Saudi Arabia, but it's not only Saudi Arabia. Today, Carlo Garganese, that sometime I agree with his opinion, sometime not, when he's reporting about official numbers, about net spent on the market, well, look at that. Net spent at the moment from Premier League, at the moment on the 12th of July, we are speaking about minus 382 net spent. That means what they already sold and what they already spent. Minus 382. And the other league, Serie A, minus 71, La Liga, minus 20, Bundesliga is in positive. They sold more than they bought with 187 million. Look, ragazzi, we are not even speaking about the fact that this weekend probably they will officialize Rice, Onana, and so on, and they will hit nearly 1 million spent in the beginning of mercato, with at the moment 837 million spent. This is incredible. This is huge. Italy, Serie A, can't compete and couldn't already compete with Premier League. I don't see that Saudi Arabia new trend as really only negative. Of course it has negative side, but not only, because if today we are waiting for some money to cash in so that we can do mercato, we will have probably to count on that money, like the one of Saudi Arabia for Milinkovic-Savic, maybe the one from Saudi Arabia for Zielinski, with Lazio and Napoli receiving some cash and starting to think about mercato. Maybe we will cash in a bit if Pogba is accepting an offer or not. But anyway, it's just to tell you that at the moment you can be pissed off with Giuntoli, with Giovanni Manna, with Juventus as a club, even with Allegri, even if it has nothing to do with it. You can be super angry with whatever you want, but you have at a certain moment to go back on earth. Listen to what I'm telling you since a few weeks. Not that Beppe is always right, but listen to what I'm telling you. We are at the moment too many players, and first we will need to sell them, because today, yes, Zakaria can go to West Ham, but he's still there. And at the moment we have no certainties. Without certainties, you can't start signing players, because the problem is that from 46 we will finish with 50 players, with 55 players, with maybe only one competition to play. A total disaster. Look, they are speaking, Corriere dello Sport, about pressing Lukaku. There is a pressing from Chelsea for the clubs that are interested in Lukaku. They are putting pressure on Inter and also on Juve. Fifth consecutive day that Corriere is insisting on Lukaku, Lukaku to Juve, Lukaku to Juve, Lukaku to Juve. Even the bookmakers are taking Juventus into consideration at the moment, probably pushed by what they are reporting since 5 days. If they are putting pressure on Juve to sign Lukaku, which is not in the plan of Juve, well, it will mean nothing, because we can't. We have at the moment, even at the moment, so many different strikers. Ragazzi, it is what it is. It is what it is. Then, Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking about the negative side as every day, but still something that we have to take into consideration. Dusan Vlahovic and Chiesa. The bids from London, because they are betting one after the other for the two players. Gazzetta dello Sport is convinced that at the moment, if Juventus is not able in a really short time, because that's what we have now in front of us, to sell 15 or solve 20 issues out of 46, if they are not fast enough, they will have to cash in at a certain moment. And players that can bring you a lot of solidity in terms of finance, a lot of plusvalenza, a bit of money, cash money, fast, are Federico Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic. With Dusan Vlahovic, some interest from Tottenham that could potentially sell Harry Kane, and with Chelsea on the player that is thinking about doing a real offer now, and not only with inserting players. On the other side, you have Liverpool and Newcastle on the Italian, 25 years old Italian player Federico Chiesa. Will one of them leave? Will both of them leave? Well, Gazzetta dello Sport every day is speaking about it, is taking it into consideration. Now, there is not only Premier League on Dusan Vlahovic. You know that Mbappe received a deadline. He has to decide his future in this week. If he leaves, domino effect, because they can go for Osimhen from Napoli, but they also take into consideration going with an offer for Dusan Vlahovic. Juventus, that doesn't want to change their plan, asking between the 70 with a maneuver to with a margin to negotiate, but between the 70 and 80 million euro. Well, Paris Saint-Germain is taking it into consideration, putting in that package probably a player like Ekitike, a player that was doing fantastically well in Ligue 1 2 seasons ago, totally flopped at Paris Saint-Germain last season. Is that the player that we would accept as a replacement for Dusan Vlahovic? I hope not, even if the kid has a lot of potential. Then they are speaking about other players, like for example, Noah Okafor, a player from Red Bull Salzburg that Juventus could be on, a player that we said, and we spoke about a lot of names to replace Dusan Vlahovic in case he leaves, is not convincing me. Good player, absolutely, but at the moment I'm not 100% convinced. One thing is sure, like Fabrizio Romano was reporting, Juventus will absolutely not go for a loan, because Paris Saint-Germain is on him, but also Bayern Munich would be interested on him, but on a loan. Juventus is not taking into consideration a loan for Dusan Vlahovic, and probably that's why everything is really, really slow, because for the first time since seasons, since years, Juventus decided that if they have to sell, they want to sell in a really, really good way. And this is unfortunately annoying, because we want to move fast. We want already to put our team on paper, starting to imagine how we will play against Udinese in that first game. On the other side, I'm in a way happy that we are taking our time, like for Zakaria, not saying yes to 15 but increasing it to 21, because every single euro that we can cash in can be decisive for Juventus. Of course, decisive if you know what to do with it. If you're spending them for Scamacca, like Gianluca Di Marzio said yesterday, well, you have potentially a problem, because Scamacca, according to me, is not the player that I want in my team. Luckily, in an interview in Gazzetta dello Sport, he said that the team that he would love to go to is Roma, with a coach like Jose Mourinho that could let him even grow more. He has a bit of nostalgia of Serie A, probably because he flopped in Premier League, but he's saying it's not a flop. I believe it's a real flop. Anyway, he wants to go back to Serie A, to Roma, that is his city. Let's see, as long as he doesn't come to Juve. Ragazzi, that was it for me. I know it's not a funny video to listen to. I know that you want things to go fast, but take into consideration what I told you weeks ago about your expectation from today's mercato, from 23-24. The most important for me, it's not the name, is that we are doing the things in a right way. Means selling the players at their value, 1, and 2, signing players that are functional for that new Juventus 23-24. I am patient, I can wait, but I also want Juventus to act at a certain moment and showing us that they are doing the right things. And that's something that we will discover probably towards the month of August, not the month of July. I'm sorry to bring you bad news, ragazzi, but otherwise you will wake up and you will have dreamt about nightmares. Let me know in the comments what you thought about that not funny video, except of the haircut of Matias Soulé. Grazie, forza, Juve.